So I'm going to go over the 10-2 lesson, which is about number patterns and tables. Basically, we take a table of numbers and we figure out what the equation is that matches that table. So let's look at this one first. Liam and Nora are playing a spelling game. The number of points for each word a player spells correctly is the sum of the number of letters in the word, and 3 bonus points for spelling correctly. The table below shows the scoring system. Find the rule and the number of points for spelling an 8-letter word correctly. So let's look at this table here. We have our input is the number of letters, and our output is the number of points you get for scoring that, for spelling it correctly. So if you have 3 letters in your word and you spell it correctly, you get 6 points. So how do we get from 3 to 6? Well, we can add 3. So 3 plus 3 equals 6, or we can multiply by 2. Okay, so let's take a look at this one. If we have a 4-letter word and we spell it correctly, we get 7 points. So let's try both of these patterns, or both of these operations, to see which one fits. If I add 3 to 4, I get 7. If I multiply 4 times 2, like I did here, I get 8. Well, the answer is 7, so it can't be multiplying by 2, so let's try everything else. 5 plus 3 is 8, 6 plus 3 is 9, so it must be plus 3. Now here's how you make an equation out of this. I take the letter of my output. In this case, it gives it to you. If it doesn't give it to you, you can use whatever letter you want. So my output is P, so I say P equals, and I know my pattern, my operation is plus 3, and then I look at my letter here that I'm using, and again, if it doesn't give you a letter, you can use whatever letter you want. That's L. P equals L, and I'll make that capital just to be clear that it's not a 1. P equals L plus 3. Now I need to, so that's my rule. I said find the rule. This is the rule. That's another word for the equation that fits this table. And now find the number of points for spelling an 8-letter word correctly. So L stands for the letters in the word, and I'm looking for the points for an 8-letter word. So I just replace L with 8. So P equals 8 plus 3, and I get 11 points. Okay, now let's take a look at this one. Kirk is building a storage cabinet. To be sure of having enough wood, he allows an extra 2 inches on measurements. Write a rule for the pattern. Make a table to find the number of inches that Kirk would measure if he wanted an 11-inch board. Okay, so let's make a table. And it didn't give me any letters, so I can pick whatever letters I want. So let's see. We have I equals inches. How about that? And W, inches needed. How about that? And W equals total inches of wood. Okay, so we'll make a table. I and W. Okay. So to be sure of having enough wood, he allows extra 2 inches on measurements. So let's say he needed 1 inch of wood. He probably wouldn't, but he needed a 1-inch board. I mean, that's probably realistically, he wouldn't need a 1-inch board, but mathematically, he would need 3 total inches of wood because he would add 2 to that. And then if we had, let's say 5, he needed 5 inches, and a 5-inch board, he would measure that plus 2, which would be 7. So 11 would be, 2 more than that would be 13. So he'd need 13 inches of wood total for an 11-inch board. Okay, so let's, now it says to write a rule, so let's write the equation that goes with this. So our output is W. I have that here, equals, and I know I'm adding 2, so that matches this part of the story problem, and I'm taking the letter I which is our original inches needed, and we add 2. So this is our equation. So let's check it. Let's test it out. If I replace I with 1, I get 3. That matches. If I replace I with 5, I get 7. If I replace I with 11, I get 13. And 13 inches is my answer, and this is my equation.